Welcome back to another episode of today's Premier Experts. I'm your host, Ray Perez, and today my special guest is Linda Kaye, the business and wealth building strategist. Welcome to the show, Linda.
Thank you so much, Ray. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. I'm very excited for this interview. I really want you to share with the audience, how have you gotten started in this a business of sales, real estate, and wealth building?
Sometimes we don't end up where we started. And sometimes it can be a complete surprise, or others are on a path and they know exactly where they're going to go. I didn't have that. Growing up in a family of 9 kids where I was number 4 in the lineup and 7 brothers, survival, leadership was a survival tactic. But I would say that moreover than anything, we all kind of competed for attention. And so getting that attention, how did you get attention? I got really good at it. So the best way for me to get attention was to become an outstanding musician and piano player, because there's only one, right? Wow. So doing that, I had to decide fairly early on, and when I say early on, in my early 20s, that I had to make a career change already, because if I wasn't going to stay in, and it was probably my mid-20s, and I had traveled all over the world, I had done a lot of recordings, but honestly, unless I wanted to do country music or religious music, I was going to have to find a new career. So pivot and versatility, taking those skills, got me into the corporate world where, believe it or not, you're selling. You're selling your talent, you're selling your ideas, you're constantly selling. So whether you're out there carrying a bag and selling, you're literally selling all the time. Yeah. So with your coworkers and anything else. So it was an easy transition for me to go straight into sales. So
let me get this right. So being the 4th child amongst 9, I guess what?
Yeah, there were 9 siblings.
9 total siblings. You learned that you had to outperform to get to the top, like literally to get mom's attention.
Oh, yeah.
And now in your career and what you teach others, especially women, is about how they can perform more efficiently, more effectively to get greater success.
100%, because, many women will think, oh, well, I'm just a woman. And no, that wasn't my story. It was like, oh, you can't do that because you're a girl. Oh, you want to watch? Oh, yeah, I can. But what I found in sales was that it was the greatest equalizer, because if I could sell, didn't make any difference what I sold. It didn't make any difference. Everybody's happy because I'm selling product, right? So it was the greatest equalizer for me. And I will say that honestly, the biggest change and the reason why I did what I did at the time was, we can have life events like a change of career, a change, a spouse that passes, or a divorce, or any number of circumstances, and you've got to be resilient enough to be able to get there and do something about it. And I had an event just like that.
Well, can we talk about that? Do you mind?
Sure.
So, because you had a very successful real estate business with your former husband, right?
No, I had a very successful technology sales.
Oh, this is right.
I sold tech sales.
That's right. So you had the tech business first, and then what happened?
Well, I ended up with a divorce, and here I am, I've got a child to support, a house to support. I live in Malibu. How am I going to live?
Coming from a 7-figure
income to nothing, okay? How am I going to pay for the house? I'm broke. How am I going to pay for the car? I'm broke. How am I going to pay for the nanny? I'm broke. I'm not only broke, I'm broken. And I really had to find that part of the resilience in me that said, get up, girl, get up and get going. And there were so many things that were going on and through my mind at that time, but my big why, and that's really important, Ray, I can't say enough, you've got to have your why. My why was my little 5-year-old girl, Elena. And that made me get up every single morning, whether I wanted to or I didn't, or I wanted to pull the cover over my head, I had to get up and keep going. So I looked around and said, what's the most expensive thing I could sell? And it was real estate, not just a house. Today that would probably be true, but at the time, 20 years ago, it was commercial. And there weren't that many women in commercial, but Ray, I know a thing or two about growing up and roughing it with the boys. So of course, I went into it with an open eye and an open attitude that I can do anything. And I did. $750 million in products and services later, I know I can.
Wow. Wow. And I love how you've taken like the perseverance from the breakdowns you've had in your life. You've created bigger, greater businesses on your own. I love how in a man's world, especially years ago, right, you had the tenacity and the willpower to break through because of your upbringing with 7 brothers. I love how that connection
Absolutely.
actually came like to become a superpower for you in your life.
Breakthroughs or an opportunity, sorry, the opportunity comes in those breakthroughs from your breakdowns. So I like to look at it as a viewpoint of breakdowns are your greatest opportunity to break it through.
Wow. So then you broke into real estate and you've used that industry for many years, and you've gotten really, really good at sales. Kind of share with us specifically why you're so passionate about teaching sales, especially to women.
I think it's really important because at that time when I went into real estate sales, I as a woman really wanted to have that sense of security. And it turns out I'm not any different than any other woman. We want security. We want the security of being able to take care of ourselves. I think the biggest fear for some women, and I know the same thing, which is why we collect so many bags, was being a bag woman, right? So I was worried that I wouldn't have enough, and so having more than enough was really important to me. And now, today, I really feel the need, because my big why changed. Our big whys will change throughout our lifetime. My big why grew up, went off to college, and got married. Okay? I'm looking around going, what's my next move here, Linda? Because I'd already accomplished a lot. Yeah. But what I felt the need for within me was really the need to give to a community of women, to be able to help them hit and break through a 6-figure, get up and break through the ability to have and provide the security for themselves. And that's so important to me.
I love that. And you've created programs and courses, you have events, you do private coaching. Kind of share what is a woman who's watching the show right now, whether is an entrepreneurship, maybe is in corporate and is thinking of transferring over, is a small business owner, what can they learn and what do you teach in your courses and programs?
I teach a lot about how to be able to make that connection, and getting attention isn't enough. You've got to be able to hold attention, and you've got to bring value. You've got to build those relationships. So many people communicate, but nobody connects. They don't understand that connection is through building a relationship, and that relationship will build your business.
This is true. I always say a business is built on relationships.
It is.
And the better the relationships you have, the more business you're going to grow.
Absolutely.
I love that. So can we talk about, you've written a couple books, you have one with you here today. Share a little bit about the different books you've written. I know you wrote them with your mother as well, right?
I did. Mom was 90 years old when we wrote this book, and we became international best-selling sensations because of this. So Miracles on My Doorstep was really about, a journey, a travel, and a lifetime of having challenges and finding miraculous breakthroughs. So yes, I've written several books and courses and material and programs.
That is amazing. I love it. And can you share why giving back is so close and dear to your heart?
Well, it isn't just women. I really feel the need to be able to help the young people today that are finding that the only connection that they're making is through a one-way view through their phone, understanding how important those connections are. So going to inner city youth, going to different community, and throughout my community, important to give back and to be back and to help people take their next step in their journey.
Yeah, once you reach a certain level of success, you start to realize it's not just about money and having nice cars and nice things and nice clothing. It's like there's I don't know if it's like this emptiness or something's missing inside, and it really comes, at least for me, from giving back to others.
It feeds the soul, Ray. It just feeds the soul because, yes, like you said, I mean, I can acquire, jewels, and I can acquire trips, and I can acquire a house or a car, but the smile that comes back to you that says, I got that. That helped me. Thank you. Yeah. I can see, you can give that to somebody. I can have my cars taken away, I can have my houses taken away, but you can never take my education away. It'll always be within me. And so being able to empower somebody able to step up and break through, that is a great passion for me. It's a joy.
So I love that you live your passion, educating these women, giving back to the kids, and doing it through your business that makes also a lot of money as a byproduct. I think more people need to focus on figuring out what they're passionate about, what they love, and go that direction so they can make money doing it as well.
You know, everybody's good at something. So many people will think, well, what am I really good at? What do you like to do? Because what you like to do and what you can do well actually are very, very closely related. What you don't like to do, you're probably going to suck at. So, really? So, get somebody else to do that for you. Find your barter. Find the things within you and do the stuff that you really like to do.
I love that. That's amazing. Well, I'm so grateful that you're here and for sharing your story and empowering women and our youth in the future. If our audience wants to connect with you, if they want to learn more about your programs, your courses, your private coaching, come to your live events, or just connect with you or help them find a home, what's the best way for them to do that?
Just don't bring your cats.
Yeah.
So the best way to connect with me is to go to my personal website, which is lindakaye360.com. And you can also connect with me through all my social media, and also check out all of my websites or access all of my available programs and events. And you can do this even by texting me or sending me an email or calling me, all in one site at lindakaye360.com.
That's awesome. And they can get a copy of your books as well.
Sure can.
I love that. Well, Linda, thank you so much for being on the show. I truly appreciate
pleasure.
it. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us on another episode of today's Premier Experts. I'm your host, Ray Perez, reminding you to never leave for tomorrow what you can do today and always stay true to your brand.